Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the best limited lineup for week 1 of season 8 in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM. Before we hop into the video though and talk about that lineup, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Help me push towards the 6,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, often multiple videos a day, especially on content days like today and Tuesdays. So make sure you all subscribe for daily awesome MyTEAM content. Would really appreciate it a ton. But without further ado, let's hop right into it. And let's check out what the limited requirements are for this week. So this week's limited requirements, you're only allowed to use 1 diamond, and then everything else in your team must be a ruby or sapphire. Can't use any free agents or heat checks or anything like that. So 1 diamond, and then the rest of your team has to be either rubies or sapphires. So the prizes for this season are going to be, I mean, they're decent. I would definitely recommend going for all 6 rings if you are going to play limited this weekend, because that'll give you an option at the limited players, but also Hall of Fame badge option as well. Whereas if you only get the 4 rings, you're only going to be able to get the 1 Hall of Fame badge versus having the option to get a Hall of Fame badge or one of the limited players at the 6th rings. At the 6 rings. So decent rewards. Kind of up to you if you want to play limited, but if you do decide to play limited this season, I have the perfect limited lineup set up for you. So we're gonna hop over to 2KDB and review what that lineup looks like right about now. All right, we're over here at the 2K database page, and we got our lineup pulled up. And at the starting point guard position, I have decided that we're going to throw in our 1 diamond player, and that's going to be Diamond Denny Avdia. The reason that we're using Denny on this team is because, well, for one specific reason. One, he's 6'9" at the PG position, which is great, but the main reason we're using him is because of this dynamic duo with Rui Hachimura. So, spoiler alert, Rui will be on this team as well. We'll get to him in a bit. But as y'all can see, 6'9" PG with solid hotspots. With his Evo, he now has 21 Hall of Fame badges, which include posterizer, catch, corner, green machine, some good playmaking badges, and really good defensive badges. He's an elite perimeter defender. Not the greatest of interior defenders, but his size at 6'9" really does help out at that area a lot. He's got great speed, really good shooter, super solid dunker as well. And stats and badge wise, just very complete all over the place. Doesn't have chef, brick wall, or rib protector, but those are really the only 3 badges that he doesn't come with. And if you can find one with those badges to buy for your limited lineup, feel free. Jumper is actually pretty good. Set shot 1 on very quick. It's smooth, pretty easy to green. It's not a bad jump shot at all. You're going to be pretty knocked down with him. The one complaint with the card is going to be that fundamental dribble style. The pippin behind the back is great, but his movement in the half court is definitely not particularly good. That being said, though, he is still a great PG option. He's got elite size, really good defender, and just going to be a super versatile, super good PG. I think he's the best diamond that you can use, especially once you get his Evo on the card. At the 2, we're going with Will the Thrill Barton, and this card was one of the Season 6 Zero Gravity reward players. So if you got this card, you have him to use for your lineup. If you didn't, that is okay. There are other Ruby cards that you can use at the shooting guard position if you want to, but I think if you have this Will Barton card, he's going to be your best option. 6'6" with a 6'9" wingspan, a solid size, hotspots from nearly everywhere outside the 3-point line, 51 gold badges, including great finishing, shooting, playmaking, and defensive badges. So he's very complete in all those areas. Really good perimeter defender. He's got good speed, a solid shooter, and an elite dunker. Jump shot is not amazing, but it's definitely not bad. Jump shot 44 is smooth enough on quick. Quick dribble style, pro size up is good. The rest of his sigs aren't great, but he's another very solid card. Just a Ruby who's going to be complete across the board with all of his badges and stats. Just a great Ruby option who can really kind of get it done across the board for you and play super solidly on both ends of the court. At the 3, we're throwing in the aforementioned Rui Hachimura. I think Rui with his duo is going to be your best option as that small forward, and he's definitely not a bad card at all, especially with his duo. He's 6'8" with a 6'10" wingspan, which is super solid size. Not the best of hotspots, but 21 Hall of Fame badges include a ton of interior badges. Catch and shoot, hot zone hunter, and sniper as well. And then defensive badges are super solid. Very solid all-around defender with some good interior and perimeter stats. Not the fastest, but definitely not terribly slow. He's a good enough shooter, and he's a great dunker as well. Got a pretty acceptable jump shot 55. Only on normal, it's not incredible, but it's definitely not terrible. It's smooth enough and easy enough to green, especially when you're open. Fundamental dribble style with the Kobe size up. Does not have amazing sigs, but he's not going to be really required to dribble the ball much for you. Offensively, he's a guy who's going to run the floor in transition, dunk the ball, and knock down threes, and he plays super solid defense all the way around. Has really good stats, and especially badges for a Ruby card once you add that Evo in, which really kind of helps him out a lot compared to your other Ruby options or Sapphire options at the small forward position. So I think Ruby and Denny having this duo is really going to elevate your limited lineup, and I think that's the best way to go for this type of team. At the 4, I'm going with Hakeem Warwick. You got a couple different options at the 4. You could go Jonathan Kuminga. You could go a guy like Sekou Doumbouya, maybe a couple other cards, but I think Hakeem Warwick is probably your best option. He's got pretty decent size at 6'9" with a 7-foot wingspan. I'm not going to throw his dynamic duo on because we're not using stand with this Dion Waiters. You can't use him, but no 3-point hotspots, but solid hotspots inside the 3-point line. 42 gold badges, include some really good finishing and great defensive badges, acceptable playmaking badges as well. He's a solid all-around defender with decent speed, a pretty good shooter, and an amazing dunker. Does not have great shooting badges. That's really the most annoying part, but he does have catch and shoot corner specialist. Only a 77 shot 3, but with a shoe boost, you're going to get that up into the, I guess with a coach boost, you're going to get that up into the 80s. And if you do get one with a diamond shoe or just a 3-point shoe in general, that is going to elevate that even further into the higher 80s. Jump shot 5 on quick is not a bad jumper at all. It's the same base as guys like Clyde Drexler, Bob McAdoo have this year. So definitely a pretty good jumper. And then quick dribble style will at least give him a little bit of playmaking ability as well if you need him. Another guy though who's going to play really solid defense, has pretty complete badges, and can knock down the open 3-pointer. That's about all you need out of a guy like this at the power forward position. So I think Hakeem Wark is a great option. And then at the center, we're going with easily the best Ruby center in the game, which is going to be Mr. Arvydas Sabonis, if I can find his name. There we go. Arvydas is probably going to be your best Ruby center by a pretty significant margin for a couple of reasons. One, he's 7'3" with a 7'6" wingspan. That's really the easiest reason. Also has 1 Hall of Fame badge, 44 gold badges, pretty solid all-around badges, some really good interior defensive badges, acceptable playmaking badges, Hoff-Dimer, really solid shooter as well, and good interior player. Only 76 speed and excel, 73 speed of ball, and a 75 driving dunk, which are all kind of low, but at 7'3", it doesn't really make that big of a deal. He's a super solid knockdown guy in the pick and pop. He's going to be elite on the interior in terms of his rebounding and mashing, matched up against the other Ruby options that people are going to be running at their center position. And then he's a super solid all-around defender with a high block rating, and like I said, a great rebounder. So at 7'3", he's going to have elite size. He's going to be a dominant interior force compared to the guys that you're going to be playing against. And then animation-wise, he's also got a good jumper. Set shot 8 on quick, same base as Yao. Pretty solid jumper. Movement is not good at all, but that is okay because he's really just a pick and pop guy or a masher offensively. Going to be a great interior force defensively and an amazing rebounder as well. Is the best center in the game at the Ruby tier. Off the bench, I recommend that you throw in guys like Jay Williams, a guy like Devin Booker. Guys like that are going to be your best option. These zero gravity sapphires are the best sapphires in my team. DeAndre Hunter as well. You're going to want to make sure you take advantage of all of these 3 cards. I think they're the best options to run off the bench at the 1, the 2, and the 3. And then at the 4 and the 5, you can still use some Rubies as well if you want to throw those into your lineup. So I would recommend throwing in a guy like Sekou Doumbouya or Jonathan Kuminga off the bench at the backup power forward position, and then at the backup center, I think a guy like Jalen Smith would be a great option as well, the Ruby Jalen Smith. I'm not going to go over these cards individually, but all these guys have decent size, or at least most of them have pretty good size besides Jay Williams. You got a couple guys who can be ball handlers in Jay Williams and Devin Booker. All of these guys can stretch the floor and shoot, and they're all super solid defenders as well. So I think they give you a super solid bench that is going to be able to compete at a very high level for a few minutes a game if you need your bench. But if you build a limited lineup that looks something like this, take advantage of this Denny and Ruby duo, you're going to have a pretty overpowered limited squad with great size, defense, everybody can stretch the floor. And I think this is a really, really good team that is going to enable you to win the vast majority of your limited games and get your ring super quickly. So hopefully you do enjoy this video and hopefully it does help you out. If so, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.